Well, hello, my dear creative, and welcome to this tutorial on interior sketching in Procreate. The topic of today's lesson will be how to color your interior drawing in Procreate. So if you're excited, let's get started. I will share this video, I think, with my clients, my customers who already bought from me any of my online courses, like interior sketching in Procreate, courses like Base and Pro. And maybe in future, this video will be available for public on my YouTube. So let me switch to my second camera. I think I will pin it. This is actually my first live stream on Zoom that I decided to do. So let me figure out how I can do this. Yes, like that. So let's open our Procreate. So for those of you who already purchased my online course on interior sketching in Procreate, you're already familiar with this program. I think I will turn off my light now so it will not distract you. So this is the drawing that I'm currently working on. This is a project of an interior in Seattle. And I already did some linear drawing, as you can see. And today I just want to share with you some tips and tricks on coloring. So essential thing for working in Procreate is working with layers. And I'll create a new layer by simply touching this plus icon. So I think this tutorial will be particularly beneficial either if you want to start drawing in Procreate and want to see how it works, or if you're already enrolled in my online course, Interior Sketching in Procreate, and if you want to kind of up-level your skills and learn something new and basically practice. So I created a new layer. This will be a layer for coloring, and I will open now my materials for this project. So clients, they shared with me the Pinterest board that they like in terms of colors and in terms of style. So they wanted here Bohemian mid-century modern style. And yes, let's begin with the basic things, something like ceiling and flooring and walls. This is a really great way to warm you up and to begin your journey into this Procreate coloring process. I love sketching with Copic marker. I have it in my brush pen. You can upload it for free on internet. You can Google simply Copic brush for Procreate, and there are so many options available. So for now, I will color the ceiling. First, I always try and test my brush. Remember that here you can work with the size of your brush, right? You can make it either thin or very, very thick. You can also play with the opacity. So it's a really great option. So I will adjust it to my preferences. And I'm going to apply the strokes in the direction of imaginary vanishing point. So we have actually our vanishing point here, but this ceiling, it is very special because it is kind of inclined, so it has its own vanishing point. And for now, feel free to apply your color on top of everything, because later on we will sand these color layers underneath the liner drawing. So don't worry about that much. Next, I'm going to pick a color for the flooring area. So let me see my previous sketch. Yes, I think I will pick slightly warmer color. I will close my window now as well. Apply this color here and also here. Don't worry about the fact that you are overlapping some things. We'll clear that up in a little bit. Also, I'll add some grayish, warm grayish here. I just want to make it a little bit more transparent. Something like that. And next I switch to the ceiling. Let's try slightly warmer color. You see that it's really easy to work with the color palette to adjust your color preferences here. So very loose kind of way. I think I'll take a bigger brush here and apply this color just like that. Okay, now I feel like I want to add a little bit more color here. So the ceiling is slightly reflective. Also, it has a nice border, darker colored border. We'll make it a little bit less transparent and a little bit thinner. It was too long. This way, and let's say I can see on the reference photo that customer sent me that they have very interesting color on the ceiling, and it looks like this. Due to perspective, aerial perspective, I want to make this area a little bit darker. And for now, we're still on this layer, and I will take my eraser. It can be the same Copic brush, it can be studio pen like here I'll be using. I'll make it a little bit bigger, and I'll simply, an opacity I'll make 100%, so it's nice and white, everything nice and white. And I simply erase unnecessary lines, leaving really nice and clean edge, like that. And here as well. I'll just make the size a little bit smaller. I'm working with the edge now. And after the edge is nice and clear, I think I'll make the size of my brush a little bigger. And erase the rest of the color from it. Finally, you can make it even bigger, so you can work a little faster. So you can see that Procreate gives you really great options in terms of variety, and even if you make a mistake, you think that it's a mistake, you can very easily erase what you don't want to see in your drawing. Because with markers, very often beginners, they feel kind of stuck because they're afraid to make mistake. And that really stops their progress. So I'll erase the lines here as well as here. Chair. So we have nice and clean kind of basics for our sketch. That's it. Yes. We can also erase some necessary lines here around our table. And yes, this looks quite good already. Maybe some carpet lines. Also, you can play with the edges here to make from the very first touches the screen feelings of textures. So this carpet has a nice edge. I will add it here. It already looks like it's a nice fabric. Also, I think these lines around this lovely armchair are not that necessary. Around the legs, you don't want to be like too perfect here, so it's okay to leave something here and there. Maybe here these lines want to be cleaner. So this is kind of step one for me when I show basic colors for the ceiling, for the flooring area. Okay, maybe here as well. Let's clean it up. Making the brush a little smaller. And this vase. And of course, for those of you who are my students, I will attach reference photo that I'm using now. I will attach my linear drawing so you can practice as well. And here I actually, for now, I really love these edges, how they look, so I will leave them for a while. Okay, next I'm creating another layer. This will be the layer for furniture, for some basic furniture. Let's see. Let's begin with wood element. We already have some wood in our space, so I will check one more time that I'm working on the correct layer. I'll pick the same color for the wood that I've already used on the ceiling, and I'm applying it on this lovely wooden table. It's okay to apply your brush in a very loose kind of way. You can, of course, color the entire space, so there is no white space left, but it's okay in sketching to leave some white space, and I personally prefer to leave some white space here and there. I think it looks very lively. Next, I will take this warmer orange because I want to create more beautiful shadows for this beautiful nature texture. And I will play with opacity. I will make this color more intense, and I will make my brush slightly smaller and the color itself a little bit darker, because I want to show these beautiful textures, which I already showed a bit in black liner, but also it's very helpful when you're working with the edge of this table. To show a bit of wooden texture on the edge. Next, I will make it wider, and I will cover this entire height. So I adjust, as you can see, the size of my brush so it fits this height, and you can very quickly show how it looks. Okay, since this is our foreground, I will add a little bit more contrast here. Again, I'm making the size smaller, opacity smaller, so I want to darken this foreground. And at the same time, working with this beautiful wooden texture. By the way, let me check if I have this wooden table on my Pinterest board somewhere, because for now I draw this wood from imagination. Let me check if they have it. Yes, actually they do have it, and now I can see that I can make it a little bit slightly more yellow, so this edge will be a bit darker, and the surface, let me make it a little bit more yellowish, something like that. Oops, too big. So you see how contrast creates this aerial perspective. You can see how close this thing looks right now. So even when I go back, you can see that there is not a lot of contrast, but when I add it back, you can see that it kind of lightens up. And I want to add a bit more yellow here and here. Okay. It's also a good idea to already make some reflections. So I will use for now my eraser, but I will make it not as white. So I'm playing with opacity, maybe even less. And I want to make bigger size. So for now, my aim is to reflect the edges of this chair. And we can again work a little bit with very edge, something like that. We can reflect these shelves here. Just a bit, just show a bit, and maybe even this nice stairs. And immediately you see that we've created a lovely, lovely texture, which looks really nice already. Okay, next onto the sofa. Let's say that we'll have nice gray colored sofa, because I remember that customers, they wanted beautiful gray sofa, but I will add a bit of cool shadow to it. So it will be grayish blue. And for now, I'm working in the same layer. As you can see, the layer where I did my table. This brush is too narrow for this, so making a little bit wider. It might look that it takes so much time to change the brush and the opacity, but when you get used to it, it almost happens automatically. Plus, you can use both hands. So since I'm left-handed, I could send this palette to the right, and while I'm drawing with my left hand, I can adjust with my right hand the opacity and the size. But since the majority of you guys are right-handed, I decided to keep this tool where it's supposed to be, on the left. So if you're right-handed and you're drawing with your right hand, you can at the same time, you see, you can make it thinner, you can play with the opacity, all at the same time. So you just need to practice a bit with it. That's it. And I'll apply this color to my sofa. Okay, I'm covering first the entire sofa and leaving some white space. We can darken these parts that are in shadow. So we have our light source, our windows to the right. That will mean that these areas, they will be more in shadow, in shade. And of course, it's a good idea to add some more variety. So you can play with the thickness of these big cushions. Now I'm using, as you can see, exactly the same color, but in a while I'll switch to slightly darker color, just to emphasize this edge. I'm looking from time to time to my reference photo and kind of scanning. Almost forgot that we have the same sofa here. So I will use this previous color from the palette, again making my brush a little bit bigger. Going back to this darker color, so I can play with these lovely details. And since this is textile, it tends to have some nice, beautiful white on the border. So I'll use eraser for that. Also, you could use, for example, white colored brush, but I love to use eraser here. Also, I think I'll go on the edge. So we don't want to go like too realistic here. This is loose kind of sketch. Already, as you can see, we are creating textures. I want to erase this edge to make it cleaner. And the border, I will make a little bit more white. here as well. In terms of pillows, by the way, this side of the sofa, it's facing the window. That's why I'm making it a little bit lighter. And this edge, I will make almost white. Yes. I want to erase the pillows at this stage because since they have different form, I will apply my brush strokes in a, with this form in mind. That's really important for the realistic look of this pillow. So even though they might be like the same color as the sofa, but I think I'll make them a little bit slightly different color. But I will use this color for the shadow. So I'm going and checking back my brush. It's Copic brush, and I will make it a bit wider. And I'm just following the form. So you can see that our pillows, they are in a more vertical position according to the sofa. That's why I'm applying these strokes differently, right? So on the sofa, I did them in the direction of the vanishing point, and here I'm following the form. So imagine that we have a drop of water, and if it would follow the form, what kind of trace it will leave. This pillow as well, the back. Okay. Maybe I want this pillow to be more whitish, so I will erase this color for now. Let it be white. So since pillows, it is like detailization part of the process. So I will leave this sofa with the pillows like that for now, and I will come to it a little bit later. By the way, for now, it's a good idea to add some wooden texture to this console as well. So it would be actually better if we would work with it while we were working with our coffee table, but that's okay that we are coming back to it. So I'm still on the same layer. I like to work on the same layer for furniture coloring. Let's pick up this wooden color. Let's make the size a bit bigger, opacity different. Just like that. And some more variety you can pick from previous palette. And I will erase some lines from this vase. Of course, this vase will have some reflected color in it, but it will be more transparent. Okay, do it like that. Also, it might have this color, so you simply touch with your finger on the color you want, and it will give you this lovely color. So I think I'll put it this way. Okay, since we worked with these tiny wooden elements on our coffee table, I would add them here as well. Since this is foreground, so we want it to be a little bit more intense. This is the border of it. Okay. it's actually a good idea to go to this layer with the flooring area, because I can see that my colors, they overlap. So I want to clean up a little bit this grayish color from my table. So I'm picking the eraser and I'm erasing it. So it's nice and clean border. Okay. So as you can see, we are done with the majority of this space. Now we'll add also this wooden color to the chairs. Since they are on the background, I will really, really lightly touch them. And we can even take this color and make it a little bit more grayish, this wooden color, and a little bit more transparent. Just like that. This size is too big. So maybe some chairs, I will do them. This chair on the foreground, a little bit more color, covered with color, and this, they just slightly touched with color. Also, this table, dinner table, it's also made from wood. So I'm applying this color, and for shadows, I will use thinner brush, the same Copic marker brush, but the size of it is a bit thinner. You don't want to overdo your background, so it's okay to work very loosely with it. Also, we have a nice lighting fixture. I think I'll take this color, which is on the sofa, and apply it here. And a bit of shadow, so it will look like a sphere. Okay. Let me check the reference photo. Customers, they have this staircase in dark gray color, and since this is the part of the interior itself, I'm going on back on this layer. On this layer where there was like flooring, etc. So I'll go here and I'm take slightly darker color. So it is made from metal. It's metal staircase. Here this part is a bit in shade. Let's make it a bit darker. Yeah, something like that. Plus it will have reflected color from the ceiling, so I will add a bit of it here and there. Maybe also reflected daylight color from the glass window. Yes, it looks good. And right now I will erase some unnecessary lines to make it a bit cleaner look. Like that. By the way, it's a good idea to add some skylight color here. So for that, I think I'll create another layer and I'll pick some nice blue. Make the size really big, and I apply it in a very, very loose way. Next, I'm going to work with opacity and with the eraser. You can actually take, for example, brush pen, the same brush pen for the eraser. And for example, if you want to make the skylight a little bit more transparent, closer it is to the border, since this is very typical for the sky to have this lovely gradient, it tends to be a little bit more intense at the top. And then I will erase. I'm going back to Studio Pen, and I will erase it from the furniture, from some elements where it shouldn't be. Also this border, we don't need it. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have nice blue skylight color. And since it's here, I'm going back to the color with my sofa, and I will apply a little bit of it to this sofa, not as intense, but more transparent. Yes, like that. So, because the sofa, it gets this reflected light, especially from this side. This pillow will be slightly more bluish, and even this vase. By the way, here in the vase, we can give it some shadow here. Okay, that looks already pretty good. So as you can see, we have our major elements done. What we have left, it is fireplace with this chair, this lovely resting area, and some flowers. So for now, let's finish it up with applying some color to this furniture. So let me check which color I used for this nice little sofa here. I'm checking which layer I'm working on. Yes, I'm working on the layer of furniture, and I'm applying it to this lovely element. It has a wooden base, so I will erase this area to make it more clean. And I will put some wooden color here. Just like that. This chair, let's say that it will be maybe yellow. Let's check this yellow and make it a little bit more mellow yellow. And let's apply it here. Working with some shadow parts of it. Since we have our light coming from the right, it means that this, for example, will be in shade. And also I will erase this edge with the sheepskin on it. And I'll add more grayish here. All right. Feels like I want to add some orange accents. So maybe this pillow will have some orange in it. You can also place the color, some color to like enliven this object on the foreground, for example. Here, also since this orange color is very close to this wooden color, I will apply it to this firewood. Just very slightly, you can touch it. Don't need to be like too precise with them. And I can clean up some pieces. It's a good idea to add this yellowish color to the fireplace. Very often people think that fire should be drawn like a red flame, but actually if you take a closer look, you'll see that fire, it's more yellowish orange, just like that. So very quickly, and we created this like look of fireplace. I will add nice dark color around it, so it will be looking a bit more brighter. Okay. And by the way, I want to make these stairs also wooden. So I'm adding this color. Just like that, very nice and simple. Okay. Final stage is, let's enliven it with greenery. So what I will do is I will go to this layer where I did like the basics, like walls and ceiling, and I will erase this gray color from the pots and from this area for the greenery, for the plants. Also here, just let me make this brush a little bit thinner. Okay. And yes, let's apply some nice, refreshing green color. You can use this palette. Let's go into more like yellowish orange or yellow green. And I recommend to work on a separate layer with greens. And very, very quickly, let's enliven our drawing with some lovely, lovely greenery. Since this is foreground, so these plants are closer to us, I will make them a little bit more, with a little bit more details. So I'm simply picking up darker green and applying it here and here as well. We have some nice plants in these shelves with books. All right, so this already looks quite fresh, nice and fresh. Let's see. I think yes, we are done with the sketch. So with Procreate drawing, this process sometimes might look quite endless. So I recommend you to stop when you feel like you start to overdo things. And let's select these layers. Let's select these layers. and place them on the bottom. So you can make it like one by one. You can actually merge these layers. And this way you will see your linear drawing on top of it. And finally, I feel like I want to clean up a little bit these edges. So I'll take my eraser and I will work with this. Yes, I think without it, it looks a bit better. So I will erase it. And here as well. And of course, this flooring area. So it will look all together. All right, so thank you so much for joining this tutorial. I think I'll stop the recording. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you're already in my online course on interior drawing in Procreate, I can't wait to see your drawings from this tutorial. If not yet, let me turn on my lighting. Yes, if not yet, if you're not enrolled yet, hi guys. I welcome you to check it out. So you simply can visit my website schoolofsketching.com and you can find the selection of online courses on interior sketching with markers, with watercolor and in Procreate. So I have different medias, different techniques that you can explore. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. And yes, I will see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye for now. And yes, if you're watching this on my YouTube, of course, please give this video a like button and subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification button. All right, see you soon. Bye for now, guys.